this is a kerning, and this is tracking. So the difference is, let's say, the kerning is a space between two letters, okay? And tracking is just space between letters. So let's see. A, O, E. So nowadays they have it automatically adjusted, so it's not as bad. But see, so in graphic design, right? The precise number is important. However, the visually it has to look right? So in this case, let me just select a different font. Helvetica. Okay. All right. So when would you use kerning? So like if you see this one, this type, you see like a kind of a large space here compared to here, and then the space here is not even with this. Like visually they are somewhat different, whatever the mechanically, like how maybe they're the same number setting, but it looks different, right? So for example, like if you're using a logo type or designing a word mark or something, then you would have to really careful with the spacing between letters. So kerning, what it does is you select type tool, and then you click between the letters. Kerning is for between letters, right? And then you go minus. Right? You're tightening it up a little bit. You can hold down Option, and then use left and right arrow. Okay, so that's first you select type tool, and then click between the letters, and then hold down Option or Alt, and then change the space with arrow keys. Try that. Now this, you might notice again, this is the setting we changed. Tracking and kerning, I think it's the same number will work. Let's see, if I do 20, let me see. Okay, so it jumps 20. So the kerning follow the tracking number here on the preferences. So I typically, because I like to fine tune a little bit, so I just use 10 rather than 20. Okay. So that's kerning. So in this case, maybe I can tighten up letter A and O a little bit. You know what, actually, what am I doing? Hang on. Oh, try to show that. All right, so this one is not fixed, and this one I'm about to fix it. So Option, hold on Option and arrow. So I mean, you know, the letter T, inevitably it has a lot of counter space, so you just have a big gap there. There's nothing you can do, but like visually, this probably looks a little bit organized than this. I think I can tighten it up. So I'm using the type tool, click between the letters, Option and arrow, right? This, it looks slightly better than about, you know, the one on the top. In terms of the space wise. So it's a little tricky, but like if you can just imagine the space, the white space, the negative space, and then try to match that like kind of evenly in terms of, you know, the area. So maybe like because of this, maybe like if you can just open it up overall, maybe it'll look better. Because you don't want to, like, if you look from the distance, then you don't want to look like this has so much space. So you want to kind of open it up a little bit, right, to match. Okay, so in type design, you kind of have to see, zoom in, zoom out, or even step back a little bit, and then like put it on the screen and then look at it. If you hit F, right, just letter F, just while you have nothing selected, you can just kind of get rid of some of the toolboxes or frames. So you can just really focus on the font or type that you're working on. Okay, that's just letter F. Now, tracking, on the other hand, just delete this thing. Wait, all right, let me just delete this thing. Let me do some kerning really quickly. Okay. So I'm happy with whatever the kerning that I have. And let's say if I want to just open up the letters overall, then that's what tracking is for, right? Okay, so it's minus, tightening, and then plus. You can even go more, like 400. Oh, like this. So depending on the design that you're going for, you can control between the space between letters and, I'm sorry, space between two letters and space between letters, overall letters. Yeah, two letters, yeah. Yeah. So let's say tracking would work, right? Even if you have a selection tool, tracking would work because it's overall, it applies to overall. And this thing wouldn't work because it's between letters. So just click on the type tool and then tightening it. Just make sure that, like I've seen like some graphic design piece with awkward letter spacing. It kind of ruins the whole thing. So make sure that when you create design pieces, just to pay attention to details, because that's really important, because like overall it has to look nice uniformly. And let's see. Now these two, I feel like you should never use it. This is just like stretching it, and I know you can cheat it a little bit, right? Maybe like if you want to make it a little bit taller or something, but it's not really recommended for any serious design, right? This is just the kind of stretching it horizontally. Again, you can cheat it maybe 95% or 105%, like 5%, but it's not recommended. Why? So let's see this one, right? The type. Type design is done so visually the lines are consistent thickness, at least visually, right? So last time we talked about like how the horizontal shape looks kind of thicker than a shape that is vertical, elongated. So they kind of do that, all that stuff, and then visually they design it so they make sure that the counter space, the negative space, looks okay with the font. Now if I just say stretch it, I just select it, stretch it, then it'll distort it in a way that, like, if you see the letter O, now that because I stretch it, what is it, vertically, the top and the bottom line is much thicker than the left and right. So it's kind of distorting the form of the letter the letter form. So it's not really recommended. So it's best thing is you find condensed type. If you want to use something tall, then you should find Helvetica condensed or something. Let's see if they have a condensed. Like here, they have a condensed form. So you should do that. So this, it's there. You can use it, but I don't recommend it. Now this one is called baseline shift. So what it does is, you know how the leading, right? Leading, I'm holding the option, using the arrow keys, right? Leading just to open up the space between baselines. Now the baseline shift is you're moving or shifting a letter or multiple letters under or above baseline. Okay. So why would you do that? Sometimes you need to do that, but it's just so that it's a baseline shift. Like say you want to do like, let me just like this, right? Of course, so let's say, of course, you can do one of these. No, not this. Like this superscript. Like this. Do this. If you don't have that option, or like say you need to change, then you can change the baseline shift, and then make it smaller. This. Again, this is probably not the right case since you have, this superscript. You don't have to do that, but it's, if you want to design something with a baseline shift that's there. Now, you can do, multiple letters or just one. You just have to make sure that you have type tool selected, and then instead of going by this, you can just hold down Option Shift and then up and down arrow. That will shift baseline. It's still editable, right? Now make sure that, let's say, because whatever you type afterwards, it will kind of follow the previous style. So if you want to say like type something, then maybe you would have to type like this and then maybe cut and paste in, something like that. But anyways, that's baseline shift. Let's see, this, I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. Just rotating letters. Never really have to use it, but it's there. Of course, you can select individual letters. So that's that. Now, the last line. So this is all caps, right? So what it does is that it contains the original setting, like upper and lowercase, and it just force it to make it just all uppercase. Okay. And let's say if you have something like all caps, this is all small caps. Never mind. Let's say if you have all caps, so all caps, 2 words, you can go type, change the case, uppercase, lowercase, type, change case, title case. Okay, that's type, change case. Okay. Now, depending on the design that you're working on, let's say you're working on some kind of you're using like classical font. So let's say you're working on something and then you need to use the small caps. So where the lower cases is will become a small caps. Okay, that's a small caps. So it just delivers a different mood in terms of design. We looked at the superscript and subscript, right? And this is underline and strike through. So those are the options here. So far, so good? Yeah? All right. Don't fall asleep. We're almost there. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it for the character. We looked at the options, so that's good. You guys want to just try out like for a couple of minutes. We talked about creating a type on a line, path, moving by selecting, whether you want to select by the line, baseline, which is path, I should say, type. This option, type object selection by path only, try that. Try that option. Then we try the line change by hit enter. And then size, leading, option, up and down arrow. And then kerning, click between letters, and option, left and right. Tracking, just select the whole thing, and then just option and left and right. Scale, vertical, horizontal scale. Please don't use it. And baseline shift, it's option shift and up and down arrow. And character rotation, if you need to. And all caps, and then that's under change case here. Under type, change case. And then all caps, that's, and I'm sorry, small caps. It's going back and forth, caps. And then if you want to do superscript, let's say like this, or that. I guess that's it. So just go through that. So far, so good? Good. All right. I want to do a paragraph, but let's take quick, let's see, 10-minute break, and let's see how much we can do with a paragraph.